It is one of the most fascinating and, frankly, heartbreaking paradoxes of being human. You stand before an infinite supply, a cosmic vault overflowing with every good thing you could ever imagine, and yet you spend your time on your knees, knocking, pleading, and asking to be let in. You have the key in your pocket, but you've been taught to act like a beggar at the gate. This isn't your fault. We've all been there, caught in this strange theatrical performance where we play the part of the powerless one, separate from the abundance we crave. We send our prayers out into the void, hoping some distant external power will finally hear our cries and grant us a favor. But every time you ask, you are screaming to the universe and to your own subconscious mind that you do not have. You are cementing the very reality of lack you so desperately want to escape. Well, today, we are tearing up that old script. In this lecture, we are going to explore how to stop asking and start claiming by uniting the perspectives of two absolute titans of spiritual thought. We will take the profound inner technology of Neville Goddard and fuse it with the magnificent, unapologetic boldness of Reverend Ike. You're going to learn how Neville's powerful law of assumption gives you the how, the technique to live in the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. Then, we'll bring in Reverend Ike to give you the divine permission, the spiritual authority that declares money is simply God in action, an energy you are meant to command, not beg for. You will see how to stop pleading with an external God by finally claiming the God power that has been within you all along. Because true, unshakable prosperity isn't just a thought, and it isn't just a feeling. It is the unified, sovereign state of knowing that you are both the source and the recipient of all good things. So how do we arrive at this unified state? First, we have to understand the mechanism that keeps us in a state of separation. Neville Goddard explained that the entire world, your whole reality, is simply your own consciousness pushed out. The cause of every experience is internal. Now, this can be a bit abstract, so let's make it ridiculous. Imagine your consciousness is a cosmic kitchen. Your imagination is the head chef. This kitchen is stocked with every ingredient in existence, from platinum spatulas to diamond-dusted sugar. You can cook up anything in here: a feast of fortune, a delightful dessert of romance, a savory stew of success. The problem is, most of us have been trained to use this five-star metaphysical kitchen like a soup line for the destitute. We walk in, surrounded by infinite ingredients, and we start banging a tin cup on the counter, crying out, "Please, sir, may I have some more gruel? I'm so hungry for abundance. I've been waiting for my meal of wealth for so long." The universe, which is the infinitely obliging but very literal sous chef, here's your order. Your order isn't wealth. Your order is the feeling of, "I am hungry for wealth and I don't have it." So it dutifully serves you up a steaming plate of more hunger, more waiting, more not having it. You are using your magnificent creative power to bake a perfect, fluffy cake of lack, and then wondering why you're still starving. This is where the glorious Reverend Ike would strut into your kitchen, dressed to the nines, and laugh. He'd look at your tin cup, then at the infinite pantry, and say, "Honey, what are you doing? Stop begging for bread when you own the whole divine bakery." He understood, just as Neville did, that the substance of the universe is internal, that money, that wealth you plead for, isn't some separate thing out there. It's God in action. It's the spiritual flour and sugar already in your pantry. You don't ask for it. You realize you already are it, and you start cooking with it. So you stop the begging. You drop the tin cup. You put on your chef's hat. This is the essence of living in the end. Instead of describing your hunger, you begin to feel the deep, profound satisfaction of having just eaten the most magnificent meal of your life. You conjure the feeling of fullness, of contentment, of relief. You walk through your inner kitchen not as a beggar, but as the master chef who knows the feast is already prepared. If this idea of cooking up a new reality is starting to make sense to you, Go ahead and give a little tap on that like button, and be sure to subscribe for more recipes from the Cosmic Cookbook. You are not learning a new skill. You are simply remembering how to use the divine kitchen you were born in. Now, that inner feeling of satisfaction is the secret sauce. But you can't just feel like a millionaire in your quiet meditation time and then walk around all day acting like you're hunting for coupons in the gutter. That's a spiritual mismatch. Your inner state and your outer presentation have to be in harmony. Reverend Ike would say your self-image is your price tag, and honey, some of you have put yourselves on the clearance rack. It's time to mark yourself up. This is where you stop just cooking in the kitchen and start strutting through the 5-star restaurant that is your life. How do you walk? Do you walk with your shoulders slumped, your eyes on the pavement, trying to make yourself smaller, as if you're apologizing for the air you breathe? Stop it. You walk with your head held high. You walk like you have an appointment with destiny and you're already 5 minutes late. You walk into the convenience store to buy a bottle of water with the same authority as a tycoon walking into a boardroom to close $1 billion deal. The universe doesn't know the difference. It only responds to the feeling of your authority. And how do you talk? Do you still whine? Oh, gas is so expensive. I could never afford a vacation like that. Every time you say that, you are taking out your little tin cup and banging it on the counter again. You are ordering another serving of lack. From now on, you change your language. You don't have to lie and say you have $1 million in the bank if you don't. But you stop identifying with poverty. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, you can say, that's not where I'm choosing to place my financial energy right now. See the difference? One is the statement of a victim. The other is the declaration of a manager. This isn't about being fake. It's about being congruent. You have already assumed the feeling of wealth, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, as Neville taught. Now you must act in a way that corresponds to that feeling. You dress in your best clothes, even if your best is from the thrift store. You iron that shirt. You present yourself to the world, not as who you were, but as who you are now becoming. Your outer dignity must match your inner divinity. This is how you cultivate true spiritual wealth. It's an attitude, a bearing, a swagger. What's one small broke-minded habit you are ready to kick to the curb right now? Go on, declare it in the comments below. Let's hold a funeral for these old, tired ways of being. You have to stop acting like a poor relative visiting the palace and start acting like the king who owns the whole darn thing. Alright, so you've got the inner feeling down. You've started to clean up your outer presentation. You're walking the walk and talking the talk. You feel magnificent. You feel powerful. You feel rich. And then comes the moment of truth. The moment you put down your meditation cushion, stop strutting, and you do the one thing you absolutely should not do. You check. You pull out your phone. You open the banking app, squinting one eye, as if that will soften the blow. And there it is, the same sad little number, staring back at you, completely unimpressed with your new tycoon-like authority. And in that instant, the whole glorious feeling collapses. The chef's hat feels like a dunce cap. The 5-star restaurant of your mind suddenly looks like a greasy spoon diner again. That little nagging voice you thought you had silenced comes roaring back. See, I told you so. You're just a fool playing dress-up. Nothing has changed. This, my friends, is the great trial. This is where 99% of people fail. They can hold the vision for a day, maybe even a week, but they cannot withstand the silence from the so-called real world. They are undone by the time lag. But listen to me carefully. This gap is not a sign of failure. It is a test of your faith. The universe is asking, are you for real? Or were you just hoping for a magic trick? This is where the spiritual muscle of persistence comes in. Neville taught that you must practice a form of what he called denying the senses. This doesn't mean you become delusional. It means you understand that your 5 senses are professional tattletales. They only report on old news, on the facts that were created by your old way of being. To look at your current bank balance for proof that your new consciousness is working is like planting a seed in the ground and then digging it up every 10 minutes to see if it has sprouted. You will kill the very thing you want to grow. Reverend Ike would put it more bluntly. He'd tell you to turn your back on the ghetto of your old circumstances. When doubt whispers about the bills on the table, you don't argue with it. You just turn your attention away, laugh, and say, "I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at my divine inheritance." You must become so loyal to your inner reality that the outer reality feels like the dream. Your job is not to look for evidence. Your job is to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled, regardless of the lies your senses are screaming at you. Stop digging up your seeds. Water them with continued faith, with the quiet confidence of the master gardener who knows that the harvest is a law of nature. So let's put it all together. You have the map from Neville, which is the technique of living in the end. You have the divine fuel from Reverend Ike, which is the unapologetic authority of knowing that money is simply God in action. Now it's time to give you the secret weapon, the daily practice that fuses these two powerhouses into one elegant, unstoppable motion. This isn't just another visualization. This is a state change protocol. Let's call it the God mode toggle. Here is how you do it. Sometime today, find a quiet moment, sit down, and close your eyes. Now, take a slow, deep breath. You are not going to ask for anything. You are not going to plead. You are simply going to decide. Ask yourself this one question. What would it feel like, right this second, if all of my financial prayers were already answered with glorious, overflowing abundance? Don't think about the how. Just feel the what. Feel the relief wash over you. Feel the tension leave your shoulders. Feel the quiet, smiling security of knowing it is done. This is Neville's work. You are impressing this feeling of fulfillment directly onto your subconscious mind. Now, hold that feeling. Bathe in it. Let it saturate every cell of your being. When you are ready, you are going to open your eyes, but you are not opening them as the person who just started the exercise. You are opening them as the person who is living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Open your eyes. Stand up and walk across the room, but don't just walk. Stride. Walk with the posture of the person whose every need is met. This is Ike's swagger. You are taking your inner divinity and giving it an outer dignity. Practice this toggle every single day. But there is one crucial rule. Once you flip that switch, you must not commit what I call a mental abortion. You have just conceived a new state of being. Do not, 5 minutes later, go check your bank account for proof. That is the spiritual equivalent of demanding an ultrasound 2 seconds after a romantic evening. It's absurd. You will stress out the entire creative process. Trust the gestation period. Your only job is to maintain your mental diet of faith and walk as if you already are that which you desire to be. So this is it, the end of the lecture, but the true beginning of your reign. We have dismantled the old paradigm of begging. We have thrown the tin cup into the furnace of forgotten things. You now understand that you are not separate from the abundance you desire. You are its very source. The kingdom of heaven is within, and the keys are your own magnificent human imagination. You are the operant power. You have the God mode toggle. You know how to flip that switch from lack to overflowing abundance, from asking to assuming. Your only job now is to refuse to flip it back. Become a stubborn, loyal guardian of your new state. When the old world of lack knocks on your door, you don't answer. You are too busy living in the new world you have already created within. From this day forward, let your defining declaration, your unwavering inner conversation, be this simple, world-altering truth. I am the source and the substance of my own supply. If you are ready to master this unified path and live this truth every single day, make sure you subscribe, because our work together has only just begun. Now go. Walk out of here not as someone hoping for wealth, but as wealth itself looking for a place to happen. I am wealth mindset